Listen, I don't want to brag. I hate to brag. I don't want to be that girl, but nobody overpacked better than I did. I bet I could beat any overpacking story you may have. Like, I once took an entire 28-inch suitcase just for shoes. Another time I took an entire suitcase just for books. And looking back, I still feel like both of those decisions were completely justified. So why would you want to take advice on packing from a former overpacker? Because I've come a long way. I've come a long way. And I am a recovered overpacker. And these days, as a personal stylist, and for the last 15 or more years, I've helped other women pack successfully in a streamlined way where they love what they're wearing, where they know what they're wearing and love what they're wearing every single day on their trips, without packing too much, without having to do, as I once did, rent an entirely other car just for my luggage. Yes, I did that. We had an additional car just for luggage. That's how bad it was. So don't be like I was, be like I am now, and how I teach my clients to pack now. I'm going to show you my new system. And it's a system that I've taught before, my cluster system, but some new updates on my cluster system that are going to help you pack efficiently, stylishly, in a streamlined way where you love what you wear and you don't add stress to the already stressful experience of traveling and getting somewhere because you have way too much stuff. Again, I get it, and I'm here to help you through it. We're all going to get through this together. So welcome if you're new here. My name is Netta. I'm a personal stylist. My whole focus is to help women like you love what they wear every single day, even on vacation, even on trips, and to streamline your wardrobe so that packing is an easy and joyful, almost an inspiring process. So let's get into it. As always, I have a lot to talk about. The first thing I want to talk about is that I had to, for me, and it's still a process. I had to get over the fact that I liked being an overpacker. I had to mentally get over the fact that I really wanted to just take my entire suitcase with me on every trip. If I had all the room in the world and traveling was a very different experience than it is in 2025, I would take everything. I want to be like those women in the old movies that had trunks. And have you seen in the Louis Vuitton stores where they have a trunk and you open it up and it's like a whole vanity and then it's like a wardrobe? That's what I want. At my heart, I am an overpacker. I want to take all the things. I want all the options. I want my entire wardrobe with me. I don't want to have to decide what I'm going to wear before I get there. How do I know what I'm going to be in the mood for? All of these things went through my head, and I really struggled with letting go of the idea of seeing myself as an overpacker. And instead, I was like, okay, I'm a stylist. I should and could and need to figure this out for myself and for my clients so that we're not overwhelmed by what we're taking and we're actually wearing the clothes that we bring with us on a trip. I know, novel idea, at least it was for me, novel idea, but I really wanted to wear the clothes that I was bringing, and I did not want my luggage to be a headache for myself and for the people I was traveling with. So that's the first thing I think we need this is just as practical as any of the other tips in here. We really need to change our mindset. We really need to change our mindset around overpacking and really feeling like we need to be prepared. I'm going away for a weekend. I need, those memes. I packed 37 outfits just in case. That was me. And if that's you, we need to get ourselves out of thinking that we need everything in order to be prepared. Being prepared requires planning. It doesn't require volume. It doesn't require quantity. It requires planning. Okay, so your suitcase isn't your closet. You don't need options for every possible scenario, just the likely ones. So the next way that I kind of shifted my mindset is I started thinking in terms of outfits, not pieces. And I planned, I have a process, and I'm going to talk you through this, where I looked at my itinerary and I looked at the outlier events, and then I packed accordingly. So I every single item in my wardrobe or in my suitcase has a place and earns its place in that suitcase. That is precious real estate, and it's in there for a reason. packing this way also, as I started doing this and forcing myself to practice what I preach, I realized it simplified my trips, it simplified the packing process, it simplified the mornings on the trips, and I was able to enjoy my vacations more when I had already pre-decided. Either way, you're going to decide at some point, right? You're going to decide on the trip or you're going to decide before the trip. When I had pre-chosen and pre-decided on my outfits, traveling became so much more like streamlined and fun and less stressful and all the things. Okay, so now let me introduce you to kind of how I do this with clients. The first thing I always want to see is what your itinerary is. Where are you going? What are you doing on your trip, right? That sounds basic, but I want to know the types of things that you've got scheduled, the types of things that you've got planned on your trip. The second thing I would ask about your itinerary is, what are the outlier events? Outlier events are events that are either way dressier or way more casual. In some way, the dress code of these outlier events is very different than the dress code for the rest of the trip. So say you're sightseeing in Greece, but you're also one day going to be doing some cliff diving, and another day you're going to be doing a formal dinner. So the formal dinner and the cliff diving, like with workout clothes or swimsuits or whatever, those are outlier events. The rest of the trip looks pretty much the same in terms of, we're going to stick to like most likely a smart casual wardrobe for that type of trip. So you're going to create a cluster, which I'm going to talk you through, for the smart casual everyday parts of your trip, and then you're going to add your outlier pieces, your cliff diving outfit and your formal outfit. That's the way that I view putting together outfits for a specific itinerary. Now, if you don't have a specific itinerary, you're going to choose smart casual pieces for your entire trip, because these are pieces, and of course, you're going to tweak these depending on where you're going. These are pieces that are going to take you everywhere, from dinner to sightseeing to museums to shopping to whatever it is that you're doing. Okay, so let's get into the breakdown of the clusters. Now, I pack in clusters for, first of all, I've talked about clusters a lot. I update your wardrobe seasonally in clusters. I believe in using clusters for every aspect of every dress code of your life, having clusters for work and clusters for weekend and clusters for working out, clusters for everything. But travel is when clusters really, really, really shine, because again, we're trying to make the most with the fewest items, right? We're trying to give ourselves the most options with a limited number of pieces. So clusters are small, curated outfit capsules that mix and match effortlessly. So they really make travel and packing so streamlined. I had this example, which is not the example any of us want, but one of my clients said that she had a last minute trip to see her mother who was ill, and she was able to pack in a really like horrible, yucky scenario. Was able to pack really quickly and easily, and was ready for everything because she packed in clusters. So it's really like the kind of muscle that we want to work so that we get good at it, even us overpackers. Okay, let me break down how clusters work. Now, the first thing that we want to keep in mind with a cluster is that it's a building block, and if you're going to be gone multiple weeks, again, this becomes even more and more important, because clusters really shine when you have limited space and need to do a lot with a little. So a cluster per week, and when you build on top of it, you're going to have so many options. So a cluster is 6 pieces, 3 tops, 2 bottoms, and a completer piece or jacket. And those 6 pieces yield 12 different outfits. Now, because you've got 12 different outfits, a cluster can easily take you through a week. So my strategy is 1 cluster per week of every trip. Now, for spring, summer, this is an update that I've added. For spring, summer, I add a dress as a cluster. Now, as part of the cluster. So you're gonna have 7 pieces in your cluster. So 3 tops, 2 bottoms, a jacket, and a dress. Now, you can use this same concept and break down a cluster and just do dresses. I did an exclusively dress cluster when I went to Europe a couple of years ago, and it worked beautifully. I will say that in addition to the outlier pieces in your wardrobe, so the really casual pieces for that one-off event or the really formal piece for that one-off event, I sometimes will put the travel outfit outside of the cluster. In spring, summer, my travel outfit is a 2-piece linen set or my 2-piece quince ponte knit set. Those are my summertime travel outfits. Now for wintertime travel, I travel in 2-piece cashmere sets. I have one from Lily Silk and one from Quince. And I also have another sweater set from Goelia that I love. That's a 2-piece like jacket and pants set. So that's a travel set, and I generally keep that outside of the regular cluster. Okay, couple of tips for creating a cluster that really works. First of all, the jacket needs to go with all the pieces in the cluster. That's key, because you're going to want, depending on where you're going, if you're going in and out, if you're going in air conditioning, if it's a cooler climate, you're going to want a jacket that's going to work with everything. Second, you want every top to go with every bottom. If it doesn't, it's not a true cluster. Now, this is most important when you're traveling. You can bend the rules a little bit when you're at home and you're putting together a cluster to update your wardrobe for the season, for example. But when you're traveling, you don't really have that wiggle room, because you really need to maximize the outfit possibilities from your cluster. So every top needs to go with every bottom, and then the jackets need to go with all the different combinations. The third thing I will say is, if you want that mix and match versatility, you're going to use some neutrals, but you can also use some color. But color and pattern need to stay ideally in one category of your cluster. So you're going to add color and pattern to either your tops, your bottoms, or your jacket, not all three categories. Because if you put tops, bottoms, and jackets that are all printed and all colorful, they're not going to go together. You're not going to have that mix and match and that versatility. So keep color and statement pieces, pattern, to one category of your cluster. Okay, next we're going to talk about shoes, because shoes. I told you I packed an entire suitcase for shoes. So now I pack 3 shoes. I would like to pack 64 pairs of shoes, but I typically pack at least 3 shoes, and usually try to limit it to 3 shoes. Now, one of the things I've been talking about with the women in my Style Confidence Club, which if you have not heard of my Style Confidence Club, I'm going to pop up the link here, because you really need to join us. We have the best fashion conversations. We've been doing closet edits together. We've been chatting about style. We've been covering all the bases. And the ladies in my Age of Style program, I've been talking a lot about how I feel like men should should only get the shoes that they're wearing. They shouldn't get any other shoe options, because men's shoes are really big and bulky, and nobody needs that kind of grief in their life. Like, we just don't need that in our lives. Like, it takes up way too much space to have men's shoes in your suitcases. So I feel like they should only be allowed to take 1 pair of shoes, but I should be allowed to take multiple pairs. So my strategy for shoes is to pack what I call it the rule of 3s. It's not fancy, but it's 3 different types of shoes. You need a walking shoe, a comfort shoe. Okay, so a sneaker is the best comfort shoe. You want in spring, summer, I would normally recommend like a white or off-white or beige, some kind of light color, but you could also do a pop of color in the sneaker if it goes with everything in your capsule. Again, that's the key, is it has to go with the entire rest of the cluster. So the walking shoe. Now, if you don't want it to be a sneaker, the other option I would say is a really modern comfort sandal. I'm not talking about Tevas. I'm not talking about the comfort sandals from very like kind of matronly or frumpy brands. I'm talking about something cooler, like maybe like a Birkenstock style. I'm not a Birkenstock person, but they are very comfortable, and they're very trendy and modern. So like a Birkenstock or a sneaker, that's shoe number 1, your comfort sneaker. This is for running all over, right? The second shoe that you need is a versatile shoe. This is a shoe that's also comfortable, but you could dress up or down. You could wear it anywhere with anything almost. It's just that go with everything shoe. Maybe for you, this is a ballet flat. Maybe it's a loafer. Maybe it's a flat sandal. On my first trip to Paris with the girls, I had a beautiful pair of flat Cole Haan sandals that I wore. They were like a gold, like a subtle gold color, and they went with everything, and they looked cute with all my outfits, and they didn't pull anything down. So like they just kind of added something to all of my outfits. So you want that versatile go everywhere shoe. The third shoe is most likely going to be a dress shoe. And so this is your shoe that you wear out to dinner. This is your shoe that maybe you wear to a show if you're going to a show, or the opera, or whatever special events that you have planned on your trip. I definitely recommend a little metallic sandal, maybe a kitten-heeled metallic sandal or kitten-heeled metallic slingback as a dress shoe on a trip like this. I think that and honestly, on almost any trip, if you're going to like a dressy event, that's the most versatile type of shoe that you can take on a trip, because they go with all the outfits. So that's kind of what we're looking for here. So, maybe your breakdown is going to look like a white sneaker, a black Mary Jane, and a gold little sandal. But that's going to be different depending on what your color palette is for your wardrobe. You want these shoes to be really versatile. You want them to be walkable and comfortable, and you also want them to be stylish, of course. Okay, so we talked about the 3 shoe strategy, talked about the walking shoe, the versatile day shoe, and then the dress shoe. Make sure all your shoes work with all your outfits. That's so important. The next thing I'm going to say is what I call the 2 bag strategy. So I like to come up with fancy names for simple concepts. This is super simple, but I think this works so well. I like to take a leather tote as my carry-on bag. And someone asked me, well, do you just carry that on your shoulder? Yes, sometimes, but I also will like stick it onto the top of my carry-on. It's really not that, or my suitcase, it's really not that hard to hold a leather tote. I have a beautiful one from Portland Leather, but I want to introduce you to my new favorite leather tote in just a minute because I'm super, super excited about it. But you want to take a leather tote, and then you want to take a smaller clutch / crossbody / like larger wallet inside the leather tote, because that wallet, bag, clutch, crossbody is going to be the bag that you're going to carry with you out to dinner when you're running around, and you don't want to carry the big tote with you. So you're going to have both of those bags, and you're going to have all your bases covered. So let me show you these bags that I just got from a brand called Pomoja. I am so excited about these because they are, wait till you see. This is stunning. This is not a sponsored video. They do not know that I'm mentioning this, but they did send me this bag, and I can't wait to show it to you. Look at this bag. Look at this bag. It's so, so beautiful. This is their Zuri tote, and then their matching Nia clutch. Ah! How beautiful is this? This is so, so, so stunning. This is going to go with me on my next trip. So this will go in this. It works as a wallet, it works as a crossbody, and it works as a clutch, and it will take me to all the places. So I have the bag for the carry-on, the tote for the carry-on, and then I've got the little wallet / clutch thing, and I'm ready for everything. So that's the 2-bag rule. I think all of it, so if you're going on a beach trip, maybe your big bag is your beach tote. Maybe it's straw, maybe it's woven, maybe it's canvas, and then your smaller bag is again, a little wallet / crossbody that you can take with you / clutch that you can take with you out to dinner. So depending on your trip, your bag is going to look different, but hopefully it's as cute as these ones from Pomoja. I'm going to put up a little clip so you can kind of see what it looks like, and like all the features. It's just such a stunning bag. So the 2-bag rule is the next thing that I do. I always make sure you want a bag that you can run around with, and you want a bag that you can haul a lot of stuff in. The last tip that I want to share when it comes to creating clusters is to consider a set. Now, if you want more color and you want more pattern in your cluster, a set can really help you get that. And we've had sets have been trending for the last couple of years. And so there are so many sets available out there. And especially if you have a hard time finding a jumpsuit or a dress that fit you well, like your top and your bottom are different sizes, a set is just fabulous because you're going to have 2 pieces that work together to look like one piece, but also work separately as part of the rest of the cluster. So consider adding a set, and you can have more color and more pattern in the rest of your wardrobe. So now, because Quince has a lot of essential and neutral pieces, you're going to see essential and neutral sets here, but you could use the same concept with printed sets, with colorful sets. You could just put a top and a bottom together to make a dress or a jumpsuit, like super, super easy. So you're going to see that kind of illustrated in these clusters. So I'm going to share 3 clusters. All of these are created almost exclusively with items from Quince. The first cluster I call the beach cluster. This is perfect for your next beach getaway, and it's easy, it's casual, it's relaxed, it's breezy, and to me, when I created this, it made me want to go on a beach vacation, and I live a block from the beach. So it starts with 3 tops. I added a pop of color with one of these tops. It's kind of this really pretty, they call it a hot pink color, but it's almost like a salmon pink color. This is a button front top, so you can wear it as a top and a layering piece, which I love, always looking for that versatility. So this kind of replaced what I would typically take on a trip like this would be a linen button down top, and I replaced it with this one for a little bit of a statement top. I generally like to have one dressier top in the mix, one really casual top, and then one that's somewhere in the middle. So always trying to go for that versatility and that variety. So this is the dressier top from this cluster. Then I also have a white linen short sleeve top. And then I have this linen tank. I have this tank in white. This is in the blue floral. It is absolutely beautiful. I think I'm going to get it in the blue floral, and I want it in black as well because this is the best fitting and most flattering linen tank I've ever tried. So many of them are just really boxy and just not my style, not that flattering. A lot of linen pieces are just, intentionally oversized, and that just does not work on me with my body type and with my height. This one is just absolutely beautiful. So that rounds out the 3 tops in this beach cluster. Now we've got two bottoms. We've got a pair of white linen shorts, which are, pretty much mandatory on any vacation to have like a really easy pair of breezy shorts on a beach vacation, and then an easy, breezy, flowy skirt. Now, as I was saying, this flowy skirt pairs really, really well with that white linen top, and together they look like a dress. So it works, together almost like a white dress, and then separately they work beautifully as well. Now, I finished off this cluster with a navy linen jacket. So the navy linen jacket goes with all of the tops and all of the bottoms, and just creates different outfit combinations. So again, 6 pieces, 12 outfits. Now I added a dress, as I always do now, to spring and summer clusters. This is a really pretty, breezy, gauzy one that I just think was beautiful and absolutely worked with this whole beach theme that I had going on. And then I added 3 pairs of shoes. Okay. The shoes that I picked for this cluster are neutral and easy, and also stylish. So a pair of the ubiquitous brown slide sandals that I still love and think go so well with so many outfits. And they just are a little upgrade from what we might typically wear on beachy vacations. Then I added a pair of brown kind of padded mule sandals. I actually have these. They're super comfortable. I have been wearing them so much. And then a pair of flats. These are a silver pair of ballet flats, so that's the dressier shoe option. So both the ballet flats and the slide sandals, the heeled sandals, are kind of a dressier option in this cluster, and I think they work really, really well. Now let's look at the other remaining pieces in the cluster. Of course, I added a bathing suit. I love that Quince carries bathing suits now. They are really, really high-end bathing suits at really reasonable prices. They're about $50, and I love this navy one. Goes with the color palette for the whole cluster. I love their white open work cover-up dress. They also have this in a top, but I chose the dress. This is a great cover-up to throw on over your bathing suit at the beach. And then I added a pair of flip-flops that are not from Quince, but a pair of rubber flip-flops just for like the sand. And then these 2 bags, which I think worked so well in this cluster. So it's a big woven, like mid-brown colored tote bag, and then a woven clutch that matches, that goes on the inside. So again, like that, the principles that I was talking about illustrated in this beach cluster, I just think it absolutely works. All of these combinations are going to be easy, effortless, and stylish for your beach trip. Okay, now let's look at the city cluster, because this is where my heart is. This is my favorite cluster. I went with black and brown, mostly brown and cream for this cluster with some touches of black, and I am obsessed with this. I feel like so often we see black and white clusters, and I'm guilty of sharing a lot of black and white outfits, but this is going to be brown and cream for those of you who prefer that color palette, or who, if it's a more flattering color palette for you. So it includes a bodysuit in like a camel color, which I think is a fabulous layering piece. I think this is such a great shade of camo. It also includes a really pretty blouse in like kind of a medium brown color, and then it includes an ivory silk blouse. So 3 nicer tops. One is the bodysuit's going to be the most casual. The colorful top is kind of in the middle, and the silk blouse is the dressiest, of course. It includes an ivory silk skirt. Of course, the ivory silk skirt is going to pair beautifully with ivory silk blouse, creating a 2-piece dress outfit. So again, they're worn just as easily separately as they are together. It also includes a pair of these brown pants that I think these are the casual running around pants that go really, really well with everything in this cluster, and I think just give you that casual option. And then it includes this is a cropped cream colored jacket that I think is just beautiful and will elevate all of the pieces. You can wear it with that silk 2-piece dress. You can wear it on its own, with the brown pants and the bodysuit. Like, it's just going to upgrade everything in the ensemble, in the cluster. Okay, the 3 shoes include a pair of like tan sneakers, a pair of, these are like that fabric, that stretchy knit material mules, and a pair of ivory like cream sandals. So you've got a running around shoe in the sneaker, you've got a versatile shoe in the mule, and then you've got the sandal for going out to dinner. Again, that's going to pair so beautifully with that silk two-piece set. Now, of course, I added a dress, and in this case, it's a sleeveless silk dress in chocolate brown. I have this dress in wine. It is one of my absolute favorites. I'm obsessed with it. And then I added the Pomoja bags that I just showed you because they're beautiful and they're perfect for this type of a trip. Like, I feel like these bags scream city to me. I just love them. So, and they worked really, really well with the color palette of this cluster. So that is the city cluster that I'm obsessed with. The last cluster, I'm just going to call this a casual cluster. This is a really versatile cluster that will take you through a variety of types of trips, like maybe it's a sightseeing trip or just whatever kind of regular trip that you're taking. I feel like this cluster is versatile and will work for a variety of different types. So we've got 3 tops. There is a white sweater top, there is a striped tee, and then it's actually like a sweater tee. So it's a sweater tank, the cream sweater tank, a striped sweater tee, and then a linen button-down black shirt. Now, the bottoms are a pair of jeans. These are the Bella jeans from Quince that I have and wear all the time. They are really, really comfortable. Those could be a travel jean, like they're that comfortable. And then a pair of black linen pants, which when paired with the black linen shirt create a unified outfit, like again a one and done outfit, almost like a jumpsuit. And then I added a black leather jacket as the completer piece for cool evenings wherever you're going, and I just felt like it worked really well with this cluster. Now for the 3 shoes, I added a pair of like slide sandals, like Birkenstock style sandals in black. I added a pair of like loafer mules, also in black, and then a pair of white sneakers. Now, these sneakers are leather. I love them. I think they're so fabulous. And they also come in black, so you could do the sneakers in black, but I really liked kind of like the contrast of the white sneaker with the black outfits. So that's it, like neutral, comfortable, easy, everything goes with everything else. A lot of the pieces do double duty, like that linen shirt is also a layering piece, like it just works very effortlessly. I added a denim dress as the dress option here because I feel like this is a dress that's just dressy enough to take you to casual dinners, and but casual enough that you can also wear wherever else you're going, like for a day of sightseeing or whatever. For the bags, I added a black canvas tote and one of those nylon crossbody bags, also in black, also from Quince. So that is the casual cluster. So as you can see, if you really take these principles and truly apply them and lean into them and believe in them and believe in yourself, I know you can do it. I've had a couple of clients say, oh my goodness, am I really only taking this? Like one of my clients, I just helped her pack for Morocco. Another one went to Turkey. Wherever you're going, a cluster can get you there. You'll have outfits, you will have options, you will look and feel fabulous. The last thing I want to say is you want to map out your outfits by day. I like to label my outfits, and I do this in an app for my clients when they need it. Like Monday you're gonna wear this, Tuesday you're gonna wear this, Wednesday you're gonna wear this. You can do this for yourself. Take a picture of your outfit, label it, decide what you're gonna wear every single day. That's how you're going to make that leap to believing that just the pieces in the cluster are going to be enough to get you through the trip. If you feel like you're going to be tempted to throw like 9 or 24 or 75 additional items in your suitcase at the last minute, you need to plan out the outfits day by day so that you know that you have enough and you can rest in that and be comfortable in it. But trust me, I have been an overpacker my entire life, and I promise you that this works. So just a quick recap of the principles. You're going to start with a cluster, 3 tops, 2 bottoms, and a jacket. You're going to add a dress. You're going to add 3 pairs of shoes, a versatile shoe, a dressier shoe, and a walking shoe. You're going to add 2 bags, a small clutch / wallet / crossbody that fits in a tote. And you're going to make sure that all of the pieces work together to create lots and lots of options. And then the final little tip is if you want to start with a set, a top and a bottom that go together, you're giving yourself even more options. So I hope that you found this helpful. I hope that this will change the way that you look at traveling and at packing, and that you don't see packing as much as a chore anymore. and that you might find that you take less and wear more and enjoy the process. So I hope that this was encouraging to you. Again, I feel you on the overpacking, and you know, in a different world, we would all be able to take all the things, but since we can't, I use the cluster system, and I hope you'll try it too. So love you guys so much. Let me know in the comments if you've got any packing tips. We're always here for the packing tips. I'd love to hear from you guys, and I will see you in the next video.